I have a shocking statement for you. Did you know that most people do not move to Florida because of the palm trees and beaches? It's true. It's a great plus, but they move here because something about where they live stops making sense financially. And recently, Florida quietly explained why so many people are choosing to leave other states without saying a word about relocation. The state recently released its proposed budget for the next 2 years, and the headline is not about the size of the budget. It's about what Florida can afford to do at the same time. Florida is proposing a balanced budget while holding nearly $17 billion in their rainy day fund and continuing to pay down the debt. Not slow it, not refinance it, actively eliminate it. The state is on track to have more than half of its tax-supported debt retired entirely. And this matters because debt is what forces states into tough choices later, like higher taxes, deferred maintenance, cuts to services, or surprise fees that show up long after you've already moved in. At the same time, Florida continues expanding tax relief. Over the past several years, billions have been returned to residents and businesses, not just through the rate cuts, but through permanent exemptions on things that people actually buy. Back to school supplies, disaster preparedness items, baby products, home upgrades like impact-resistant windows and doors. These are not temporary feel-good programs. They're structural decisions that lower the cost of living here over time. Property taxes are another area that people watch closely, especially if they're coming from states where those bills feel unpredictable. While no sweeping changes have been finalized yet, Florida has set aside dedicated funds to make sure any future property tax relief is done carefully without destabilizing counties or shifting the burden in ways people don't see coming until it's too late. One of the reasons Florida can do this is efficiency. Even with a population that has grown significantly in the past several years, Florida still operates with fewer state employees per capita than any other large state. That lean approach frees up money for things people actually feel in daily life, like roads and schools, water systems, and emergency services. Education continues to be a major focus. This budget proposes the highest per-student funding Florida has ever seen. And while still holding the line on college tuition and investing heavily in workforce training, nursing programs, skilled trades, apprenticeship pathways, all of these kinds of jobs are things that the communities need to function as they grow. Infrastructure investment is another piece people underestimate until they live somewhere that just doesn't do it well. Billions are being directed towards transportation projects, highway expansion, resurfacing, ports, and aviation improvement. This affects commute times, job access, supply chains, and even how resilient an area can be after a storm. Housing affordability is a concern everywhere, and Florida is not pretending it has a magic solution. But the state continues funding programs designed to support workforce housing, rental development, and down payment assistance for people who actually keep communities running, like teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, and veterans. Environmental investment is also part of our picture, especially in a coastal state. Florida has committed record funding towards Everglades restoration, water quality improvement, lagoon and estuary protection, septic to sewer conversions, and alternate water supply projects. These are not abstract environmental goals. They affect insurance risk, property value, and whether an area remains desirable 10 or 20 years down the road. Who wants to live in an area that is full of polluted water and animals are dying by the thousands? We're stopping that and turning it back into healthier water, not just for people, but for the animals who survive in it. Healthcare, senior services, and mental health support are also expanding, along with significant investments in cancer research and veterans facilities. For many families, especially those relocating later in life or caring for parents, this kind of infrastructure matters more than they may realize at first. When you step back, the story here is not about a single budget cycle. It's about the priorities that Florida is putting at the top of the list. Florida is choosing to reduce debt, maintain large reserves, invest in infrastructure and education, protect natural resources, and still provide tax relief. all while continuing to grow. This combination is truly rare if you look closely at other major states. When I look at this through the lens of relocation, what stands out to me is not any single number. It's the consistency, planning ahead, paying down debt, investing without overextending. If you're considering a move, that kind of approach can bring a sense of stability before you ever arrive. This level of stability in our state government allows you to feel comfortable putting roots down here, not just for what Florida is today, but for where it appears to be heading. I'm Lee Johnson with Brownfield Real Estate Group, and thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next week.